Hi, Todd Warren here in the Forecast Center with a quick update on Hurricane Laura. The latest advisory from the National Hurricane Center shows that Laura is still a Category 4 storm with maximum sustained winds of 150 miles per hour as it's moving towards the north-northwest at around 15 miles per hour. Looking at likely landfall here at about 12:30, given the fact that the storm is probably about 24-25 miles off the coast of Louisiana as I record this. Here's the latest forecast from the National Hurricane Center, and the previous advisory maybe just a little bit further east of Shreveport as it crosses I-20, and you can see it will still be a significant tropical storm as it exits the area during the late afternoon or early evening hours Thursday evening. And as far as the impacts, obviously we have numerous things to talk about. We do have a flash flood watch, which is in effect for all of the area due to the heavy rain that's anticipated. We also have tropical storm and hurricane warnings in effect for sustained winds. We're talking at least 40 and probably closer to 60 for all this area of blue. The areas of red is where sustained winds will be in excess of 74 miles per hour and actually could be closer to 100 along the lower edge of Toledo Bend as the storm moves close to that area very late tonight into the morning hours. And of course, we are looking at the potential for a few isolated tornadoes. You can see the tornado watch that is in effect for the southern edge of the Arklatex until 8 a.m. For the bands of Laura, which will begin to move into the region later on tonight. Let's talk about the timing of things here in terms of the rain. And you can see as we progress our way through the night tonight, you can see the heavier rains begin to move in after midnight tonight. The heaviest of the rain, southern sections of the Arklatex around sunrise. That moves into the I-20 corridor about, say, about 9 o'clock, moves into southwest Arkansas by noon, and then we'll see the heaviest rain move out of the area by early evening. Tomorrow night we'll be watching for the potential for a few bands to form on the bottom of the circulation. You can see those forming here. We have to keep a close eye on those because sometimes those can produce some very heavy rain as they tend to train somewhat, and you can see this activity will develop further to the south with scattered thunderstorms on Friday. How much rain might we experience? Well, we're still looking at near and east of the track of Laura, upwards of 5 to 7 inches of rainfall possible. Shreveport, Texarkana, Mansfield, Manny, probably looking at that 3 to 6 inch range. And you can see western sections of the Arklatex, 1 to maybe 3 in a few isolated spots. So easily the heaviest rain can be expected over the eastern sections of the area. Let's talk about the wind. And again, these are numbers from Futurecast here and wind gusts. And notice these areas of pink and purple here over the southern sections of the Arklatex. This is where we could see gusts in these areas of bluish purple. That could represent 100 miles per hour plus is what we could be looking at in terms of the gusts there. Those gusty winds arrive in the I-20 corridor, including Shreveport, Minden, Arcadia, Ruston, even Marshall, mid-morning. We'll see the stronger winds move into the Arkansas-Louisiana border part of the region by noon. That includes Texarkana, Magnolia, Louisville, as well as El Dorado. Wind gusts probably in excess of 60 miles per hour in spots. And then we'll see the wind begin to subside somewhat as we go through the evening hours tomorrow evening. And as far as those impacts, again, must emphasize this is probably going to be one of the most significant tropical systems to impact the Arklatex, as we are going to be looking at, again, the gusts in areas. This says 50 to 90. Actually could see those gusts exceed 100 across the southern edge of the Arklatex. And because of the persistence of the strong wind for most of the day, the soil gets saturated, trees continue to get pounded, and as we go through the day, it gets easier as the soils get saturated, for the wind to knock down a few trees. So power outages will be very widespread, and several, if not many, if not most of them, could last for days, given the widespread nature of what we could be facing. I mentioned the 5 to 7 inches of rainfall over the eastern half of the area. That could result in some flash flooding. And again, something that I didn't touch on too much, a few isolated tornadoes also will be possible, but it looks like that threat may be highest over the southern edge of the Arklatex and perhaps to the east of Shreveport and Texarkana. So that, in a summary, is what we can expect for your Thursday. And Josh Marcis and I, as well as Jesse Kelly, will be back in the morning tomorrow to give you live extended coverage of the storm as it makes its way into the Arklatex.